Hey, this is Cherie Buick. I am going to be reading Jonah chapter 1, verse 6. So here goes the reading in Hebrew. Va'ikrav el Iv Rav HaChovel. Va'omer lo ma elcha nirdam. Kum ker'a el Eloachecha ulai yitashet ha Elohim lanu velo noved. So what I translated this to be literally well, actually, let me show you this first. When you're doing your verse, don't look at the numbers on the outside. That's what I did, and I actually translated part of verse number 5, but it actually came into play and it helped me out later, so it was not bad. But so translating just the part that I was supposed to do, it literally says, came near to him, become the captain, and said to him, "What for you fall into heavy asleep? Arise, call on your God. Perhaps he will reconsider God to us and not perish." So that was the literal translation. Because I accidentally did a part of verse 5, I knew who the he was. The he was Jonah, and then the second he I was able to figure out was the captain. So this is how I translated it kind of, within the context. The captain of the ship came to him and said, "Why are you sleeping? Arise, call on your God. Perhaps he will think of us, so we will not perish." So that is my translation. That's my Hebrew reading. I wanted to talk quickly through my notes. This is what I did. I wrote everything down, and I skipped 5 lines in between each row. And so then essentially to translate this, I don't know how you guys are doing it, but essentially I really just used the 10 Commandments. And so, looking at that, the first thing that I knew, start from the outside of the word, work your way in. And so really what helped me was, okay, well, what are the prepositions? So this is a table that I found online that includes more than the prepositions that we learned in the class. But when I saw a preposition, I circled it, and then I skipped a few rows, and I wrote down like, of, whatever that it was, right? And I wrote it down below it so that I knew what I was doing. So that was the prefixes. And then I moved on to some of the other preposition things that we had. So this was another sheet that we got from Dr. Thomas. So I got all of the prefix things out of the way. So including inseparable prepositions, independent personal pronouns, circled all that, wrote down what it was. I ended up also finding I ended up looking for relative clause particles and particles of existence. I did not have a very complicated passage to translate, which is great because I didn't have any construct chains. I just really had to figure out, who are they talking about and what does captain mean? That was the toughest thing I had. But I didn't know that, right? So after I got through the prefixes, I went down to the suffixes. And so on this, anywhere I saw a masculine ending, I wrote down masculine singular. If I saw a feminine ending, I wrote down feminine singular. And you're going to use that later on to figure out what the word means. So I noted when I saw a singular noun suffix, or it was a type A preposition, right? So if we go to the sheet, this sheet was huge. If you guys haven't done it yet, you are definitely going to want to use this. You're not going to necessarily know unless you're a lot better at this than me, you're not necessarily going to know if it's a singular noun or a type A preposition. But if you circle it and you write down what it is, you are going to figure it out once you get to the root of what the word is. So I went through all of this, got all of my suffixes, plural nouns, verb suffixes. This is a big one, guys. When you get to the verb suffix, if you see one of these, write down whether it's perfect or irregular. Make a note of that because it's really going to help you understanding the verb endings that are going to go on there. So, again, I didn't really have a tough passage, but hopefully that will help you. So I got through all of that, and then I just circled wherever I saw a demonstrative or a definite article. And then the last thing that I did is I looked for question markers. So did I see one of those little, prefix things that let me know a question is coming up? And I looked for conjunctions. So once all that was done, I really was to what I hoped were the roots of these words. And so honestly, I just looked them up. I spent a lot of time, so you see all the notes I have. I wrote down which pages I found things on. I just looked them up. And so you're going to get stuck when you look things up, and that's because, what we just went through is not perfect, but you're going to be able to figure it out from there. I made a couple notes where, if anybody gets stuck and whatever, there were a couple things I had to go back and check because as I went through the dictionary, I couldn't find everything easily. And for me, I did not have a construct chain, which was interesting, is that the sentence that I had translated before this was a construct chain. So remember with that, you're just looking for nouns next to each other. So hopefully that helps you guys. Good luck. I will type all these notes up and send it to you, Dr. Thomas. Thanks.